Good evening, welcome to the Glazov gang. I'm not Jamie Glazov, I'm still Josh Brewster filling in for Jamie Glazov. I want to continue a conversation we had last night, which was democracy is not just about voting. It has to do with individual rights. And of course, we've seen the Arab Spring, and across the Arab world, the Muslim Brotherhood is stronger than ever and gaining more and more power. Now, I want to click over here to Susanne Reyto to get her thoughts on my assertion that democracy is not just about voting. You have to have individual rights. You have to respect the rights of Jews, Christians, gays, women, everybody. But we don't have that in the Middle East. We just have voting.
Well, but I think it's very important to remember democracy is a unique concept, and we cannot transplant the American democracy to any other country. Democracy, just like communism, came in many flavors. Every country you approach will have a different way. And just because we call it democracy doesn't mean that it's fair. You can twist people's arm and get to the poll, and you get the results you wish for. So democracy is something very different. We in the United States respect it. We have respect for each other. And one of the biggest problems, I believe, is the incredible great American public does not conceive the concept of good and evil. And when you think about everybody in the world is great and good, you can't face the enemy and you can't face reality of radical Islam and the people we're fighting. And that mindset has to be changed for everybody to embrace what we face. Radical Islam is something not only Americans face, but the whole West.
Yeah, Susanne makes a great point. Moral relativism is no way to stare down radical Islam. Yeah. Shari, your thoughts?
Well, for me, democracy is a means to an end. It is not an end. And here in America, we have what Dennis Prager likes to call the American Trinity. And one of those values is liberty. And the other one is from e pluribus unum, from many one. For the last few decades, the left has been introducing multiculturalism, and it's just the opposite of what our founding fathers had in mind. And therefore, this country is much more than a territory. It is an idea. Anyone can be an American. The idea that we now have hyphenated Americans is recent. It is against the founding principles of this country, which was liberty, the pursuit of happiness, faith.
All right. Now, tonight, what we're going to talk about on the show, it's a very hot topic. Huma Abedin is Deputy Chief of Staff to United States Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. And Huma Abedin drew some attention from Michelle Bachmann and some other representatives who drafted a letter to our government expressing concerns about Abedin's mother and father and their potential involvement with Muslim Brotherhood-related organizations. And this is just beginning to unfold. And Walid Shobat, former PLO terrorist, has written something on Front Page Mag. I would recommend you go and read his interview with Jamie Glazov. Tonight, I have the pleasure, of course, of having Nonie Darwish here, and Nonie has just written at least a couple pieces for Front Page about Huma Abedin. Now, I want to say something. Huma Abedin, she could be as American as apple pie. I have no issue at all. Here's the issue. How come Michelle Bachmann raises something that's very serious, Nonie, and the press can't handle it at all? They can't handle this at all.
This reminds me so much of Arab media, because this is how they respond. Some people in the Arab world are above criticism. And this issue about Huma Abedin, regardless, the woman could be, like you said, as America's apple pie. She could be the nicest woman and most trustworthy woman on earth. That is beside the point. Just the fact that her mother is a member of the Muslim Sisterhood.
One of the founders.
One of the founders of the Muslim Sisterhood. She lives in Saudi Arabia. She's very active with a lot of Islamic organizations. Same thing with her brother. Same thing with her father. Her mother actually founded International Islamic Committee for Women and Child. You would think this International Committee of Women and Child would be liberating for women.
But it's actually a Sharia-compliant organization, correct? Right?
This committee that Huma Abedin's mother was one of its founders and leaders is actually enforcing Sharia law and its branch in Egypt today is revoking several laws that were more liberating and going back to the roots of Sharia. So can anybody believe this? Huma Abedin's mother is supporting an organization that is bringing back female genital mutilation as something that's it's not going to be illegal anymore in Egypt.
Now, Nonie, I want to go over to Susanne and then to Shari. What concerns me here, Susanne, is that our media can't handle educating themselves about what the Muslim Brotherhood is. They're very dismissive about this whole thing. Their tentacles are in Al-Qaeda. Hamas is the Muslim Brotherhood in Palestine. Why can't these things be discussed? And why isn't this a serious matter? And why must the reaction always be knee-jerk, you're an Islamophobe?
Well, why is it Michelle Bachmann only asked for an inquiry? She didn't accuse, she didn't say anything. Let's just find out the foundation of the problem and let's clear the air. That's all we needed to do. But nobody allows that, and everybody chastises her rather than say, thank you for bringing it to our attention. Mm-hmm. The media is not willing to inform the public. Isn't the media's responsibility and duty and obligation to inform the public? I think they not only disinform, they deliberately uninform the public.
I agree. Shari, did you want to touch on this issue? Because I'm sure you have a few things to say.
Well, I believe that the infiltration by the Muslim Brotherhood is on both sides of the aisle, and it is within all of our institutions. I can't make that clear enough. I think the question that needs to be asked is, why are we not demanding of our government officials, our elected officials, to stand up with the courageous five who had the courage to ask for an investigation regarding security clearance? After all, it is our security, our lives. We've lost 3,000 Americans. Do we need to lose more?
Right.
The onus should be on the media, and the onus belongs on the elected officials who are not standing up and calling for an investigation.
Go ahead.
The amazing thing is that she sits on with Hillary Clinton on the most high security meetings. Then she goes and accompanies her to the Arab world, the Arab-speaking world, where she interprets for Hillary to the other side, and she interprets to Hillary from the other side. Do we know what she says? Is there anyone who checks her? Is there any checks and balances?
Let's assume everything's fine. Let's assume she's fine. Let's assume she's fine. What I want to know is, why is it that Council of American Islamic Relations, all these other groups, you can name like 50 of them, they're running sensitivity training for our cops, Nonie. Yes. The Muslim Brotherhood has organizations in this country running sensitivity training for our cops and our military.
How about,
Nonie, they don't know this. They can't handle this. John McCain can't handle this. Boehner can't handle this. They can't handle it. And this is a virus, Nonie.
Yes.
It's a virus, like communism. It's a virus.
The problem
Nonie,
is the American government today is holding a stick to the citizens of America and speaking softly to the world. That's what is upside down. They need to have some sensitivity training to the American people, to the Tea Party, system, whom they call names. The American people are being abused by their own government, by their own media. And the best interests of Americans are not being taken care of, and there is a problem. It's in the White House. Dalia Mujahid, who worked for Obama, she wrote the speech for him for Cairo. She wears the hijab. She is from Egypt. She is a Muslim Brotherhood open sympathizer.
And no one wants to talk about it.
And nobody wants, and I think she's even more dangerous. Did you know that she was elected the most important Arab woman by the Arab media because of her position in the White House?
Okay, I want to ask Shari and I want to ask Susanne before the end of the segment here very quickly. I want you to give me a bit of a prediction. Tell me where this Huma Abedin story goes. Shari, does this go anywhere and get a proper airing, or is this just confined to the fringe because our media won't touch it? What's going to happen?
I don't think the media will touch it unless we, the foot soldiers, and this means the ordinary American, becomes aware enough and demands it and puts pressure upon the elected officials and the media to cover it.
And make it okay to talk about it.
Exactly.
Susanne, go ahead,
Unfortunately,
please.
the elected officials want to be reelected,
Yes.
and they're afraid to speak the truth.
Yeah, I don't want
and
to offend,
think,
yeah.
and I think we need to finally learn not to be afraid of facts. Facts and truth are what we need to face, and people need to become better informed themselves. So when people tell you gibberish, you can, with forthrightness, say, no, I think you're wrong. Maybe your information is incorrect. I'd like to tell you mine, and maybe between that you can come up. In growing up under communism, we always said, you must read between the lines. And you cannot have this information or that information. You have to read many different versions and then simmer down your way and then read what is omitted. Sometimes by omission is what we really learn.
Very good. I need to close with this. Hold that thought a second, Nonie. Tomorrow night, we're going to get to that. Tomorrow night on the show, we're going to talk to Susanne Reyto about her book, Pursuit of Freedom. And we're going to talk about and discuss why is it passé to discuss collectivism, especially now. I'll talk to you then.